Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented her 8th budget today. In fact, the Finance Minister in her budget gave big relief to the middle class with no income tax up to 12 lakh income. New income tax slabs have also been announced. Tax relief for the middle class and senior citizens. 100% FDI has been allowed in the insurance sector. The other focus of the budget was on poor women and youth along with the farmers. Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Yojana has been launched for the farmers and loan scheme for new women entrepreneurs.
In recognition of their contribution, we have periodically reduced their tax burden. Right after 2014, the nil tax slab was raised to 2.5 lakhs of rupees, which was further raised to 5 lakh rupees in 2019 and to 7 lakh rupees in 2023. This is reflective of our government's trust on the middle class taxpayers. I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees. So, average income of 1 lakh per month other than the special rate income such as capital gains under the new regime. This limit will be 12.75 lakh for salaried taxpayers due to the standard deduction of 75,000. Slabs and rates are being changed across the board to benefit all taxpayers.
ये 140 करोड़ भारतीयों की आकांक्षाओं का बजट है। ये हर भारतीय के सपनों को पूरा करने वाला बजट है। हमने कई सेक्टर्स युवाओं के लिए खोल दिए हैं। सामान्य नागरिक विकसित भारत के मिशन को ड्राइव करने वाला है। ये बजट एक फोर्स मल्टीप्लायर है। ये बजट सेविंग्स को बढ़ाएगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट को बढ़ाएगा, कंजम्पशन को बढ़ाएगा और ग्रोथ को भी तेजी से बढ़ाएगा। मैं वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को इस जनता जनार्दन का बजट, पीपल्स का बजट, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, आमतौर पर बजट का फोकस इस बात पर रहता है कि सरकार का खजाना कैसे भरेगा, लेकिन ये बजट उससे बिल्कुल उल्टा है। लेकिन ये बजट देश के नागरिकों की जेब कैसे भरेगी, देश के नागरिकों की बचत कैसे बढ़ेगी और देश के नागरिक विकास के भागीदार कैसे बनेंगे, ये बजट इसकी एक बहुत मजबूत नींव रखता है।
Mr. Goyal, really appreciate your time here on NDTV. We have seen easing up of tax regulations for the middle class, but what about trade and commerce, sir?
Maria, don't you think easing up of tax is a very light word? I think you've seen a revolution in the tax system. Everybody who earns up to 12 lakhs or salary payers up to 12 lakhs 75,000 having to pay no tax is like almost removing the tax on the middle class. And I must compliment Prime Minister Modi and Nirmala ji for this very bold decision. It will add significantly to consumption demand, give a big boost to growth, and will certainly have a huge impact on the middle class as well as on trade and commerce.
There is no doubt that domestic consumption will increase with more money in the hands of people, but how will the relief to the middle class also lead to growth, recovery and aid in manufacturing as well?
Well, very logical. As demand increases and people have more money to spend, the disposable incomes, the money in the pocket increases, and the spend on goods and services, the demand increases. When the demand for these goods increase, it leads to a demand to grow the manufacturing capacities in those goods. Let me give you a simple example of air conditioners. We used to be largely dependent on imports of air conditioners until a few years ago. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi brought out the production-linked incentive for air conditioners, they started getting assembled in India and the components started getting indigenized. From a level of barely 20%, we are already at about 60-65% indigenization within the air conditioners sold in India. A number of compressor factories are coming up. The indigenization will go up to 85% in the next 24 months. And gradually, we are becoming self-reliant, Atmanirbhar in air conditioners. Now, when we did all this planning, our expectation of air conditioner market growing was at about 7, 8, 10%. The reality is it's multiplying by leaps and bounds. The growth in air conditioner demand is just beyond our imagination. So all the plans that we had, all the plans industry had to create a manufacturing ecosystem around air conditioners are now falling short of the demand. With this step to give middle class more income, this demand will further increase. So I think demand increase, consumption demand leads to demand in the market, more manufacturing. That will lead to jobs. Jobs will lead to further incomes. The virtuous cycle of growth can be seen in this budget.
Joining us now is a senior Congress leader and former Finance Minister, Mr. P. Chidambaram. Mr. Chidambaram, thank you so much for your time. Sir, would you concede that this relief to the middle class is a bold move? Because policymakers, opposition, have been demanding as to why the government is not passing on dividends from record GST collections to the middle class.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move. It is intended to attract the attention of the voters of Delhi and the voters of Bihar. I have no complaint about the relief given to 3.2 crore tax-paying income tax filers. Mark my words, only 3.2 crore income tax filers actually pay tax. What about the remaining 140 crore? If you had cut the GST, it would have benefited many, many more crore. If you had cut the prices of petrol and diesel or reduced the taxes on petrol and diesel, that would have benefited millions of people. If you had increased the Maganrega wages, it would have benefited millions of families. Therefore, while I have no complaint about the relief given to 3.2 crore income tax filers who pay tax, what about the rest?
Right. Also, Mr. Chidambaram, why do you feel most of these schemes are beyond capacity of this government, and why that the bureaucracy will be happy with this? Because the government is also saying that they will be bringing in Jan Vishwas 2.0, which will reduce regulations and unnecessary compliances.
What regulations have been reduced? In fact, she has announced 15 more schemes and 4 more funds, which means adding to the bureaucratic discretionary load. Why announce 15 more schemes when many of your current schemes are underfunded or you are underutilizing the funds? I'll give you examples. In health, 1,255 crore was underspent. In education, 11,584 crore. In social welfare, 10,019 crore. In agriculture, 10,992 crore. In rural development, a whopping 75,133 crore. Urban development, 18,907 crore. You are not able to spend the money on the programs that you announced with great fanfare last year. Why add another 15 programs?
संसद में बजट की चर्चा हुई। ठीक है, इन्होंने कहा मिडिल क्लास के लिए जो टैक्स का स्लैब है इसको 12 लाख तक कर दिया। इस देश में कितने लोग टैक्स भरने लायक हैं? कितने लोग इतना कमा भी रहे हैं कि वो टैक्स भरेंगे? मैं बताती हूँ, 7 करोड़ लोग, लेकिन 135 करोड़ जनता टैक्स नहीं भर पा रही है। हर चीज पे जीएसटी का टैक्स है, खास तौर से जिनकी छोटी छोटी दुकानें हैं, जो अपना छोटा बिजनेस चलाते हैं, वो समझ रहे हैं मैं बात क्या कर रही हूँ।
Let's shifting focus now to the Mahakumbh, where 118 diplomats from 77 nations visited Mahakumbh. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also attended at the ceremonies, in fact, and took a holy dip at the Sangam. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister went to the Prayagraj and also met the stampede survivors. He went to the hospital and took stock of the situation.
I took a dip and it was very special. I also took some water, holy water with me back home, so I'll give it to my relatives. What I've seen, it's very well organized and also safe, so I have no complaints about it.
I'm very, very happy, and I am especially blessed today. I have my birthday today, and this is my birthday. And
today's your birthday?
Yes, and
happy birthday for first
thank you very much, and this is truly blessing to be here on that day. So I'm very grateful. Namaste.
I lived in India now for 4 years, so I already know the culture and the feeling. But the feeling here and in these places, especially today, as I say, especially today, feels like a blessing, feels like energy coming from outside into the inside of the body and vice versa then. So that's what I felt in all these places.
Speaking exclusively to NDTV's Nikunj Garg, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju says that the Waqf bill is necessary and the government will be forced to push the bill if the opposition resorts to unparliamentary tactics.
If the opposition party tries to block any legislation by creating ruckus or doing some kind of unparliamentary tactics in the House, then government will be forced to push through it. When we want to have a discussion, if the opposition thinks that by blocking physically, by creating ruckus in the House, they can block the bill, it is not going to happen.